Hello and welcome to LSTV1. You're watching the weekly news recap coming to you live from a studio in Lamenkerawan. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amie Fadera and these are the headlines for this week's recap. Physical planning demolishes Sukuta Salaji Market. President Adama Barrow leads NPP supporters in a cleansing exercise. A tricycle turned to an ambulance in Sankande village on the international front. DR Congo to pay their respects to Lumumba. In sports, Gambia is nominated for the CAF 2022 award. On entertainment news, Chacha Ike and Funke Akindele's marriage crashed. R&B singer R. Kelly sentenced to 30 years in prison for sexual abuse. Those are the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Stay tuned. We begin this recap with physical planning demolishes Sukuta Salaji Market. Dozens of stalls were on Wednesday demolished by physical planning. Vendors in the market alleged that market was demolished without no prior notice given to them. Bajan Kamara visited the market and see files in this report.
Physical planning embarks on a demolition exercise at Sukuta Salaji Market. A bulldozer rolled through the stalls. It is said that during the demolition process, the paramilitary police unit were driving away the vendors selling in the market. LSTV1 went to the market today to do more findings in the current situation of Sukuta Salaji Market. Some of the vendors voiced out their anger and frustration about the current situation of the market and the difficulties they will face after spending lots of money to make sure they have stalls to sell on. Lamin Jata, the spokesperson of the Women Unity Association in Salaji, made allegations on physical planning that they were using the government's name to do corruptions, taking properties that did not belong to them forcefully.
It's very sad because most workers in physical planning has houses in Salaji. Even the director has his compound in Salaji living with his family. PS2, Musa Baji and Sufati, all working in physical planning, has compounds in Salaji. Ministry of Lands are also among the people sharing lands. They use the government's name to do the corruption scandal, taking land forcefully from people. They also involve the ministers and selling them. People go to lodge complaints to speak the truth. We fought for never again yesterday, but still we are facing the same situation of corruption.
Bintu Koli, the secretary of the Sukuta Salaji Unity Association, said the demolition of the market came as a surprise to her because they were not expecting such acts from physical planning. She is urging the government to intervene and help them with issues regarding the market.
The demolition of the market is a big surprise to me. I and my colleagues went to meet the governor of Salaji regarding the issues of the market and how the authorities came and want to take over the markets forcefully. We were promised a day to meet the residents and the Department of Physical Planning. We went to attend the meeting early in the morning, but we were stopped by parliamentary police officers who dispersed us and deployed a bulldozer to go destroy all the stalls and canteens. These stalls was made by the women vendors, some costing to $2,000 each. We calling on the president to come to our aid because we campaigned for him last election and he won by 90% in Sukuta Salaji. And after his victory, we did a celebration that we were not giving money or anyone else.
Many affected from the demolition of Sukuta Salaji Market expressed their concerns about the disappointment they got over the issue, calling on government and the Minister of Lands to act immediately and compensate for all the damages lost. For LSTV1 News, I am Bajan Kamara.
President Barrow lead NPP supporters in a cleansing exercise. NPP party supporters led by the President, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, on Saturday, the 25th of June 2022, went on a cleansing exercise in Banjul, the capital. The exercise, which was dubbed Operation Cleanse Banjul, started at the Albert Market to Ports, Hagan Street, Half Die, Quadrangle, Arch 22, Allen Street, and other places in Banjul. Aji Jacob Njai attended the exercise and see files in this report.
The people, so that we can come out, volunteer to clean our city. We don't have any other place in this country more than Banjul. Banjul is for everybody. And I used to live in Banjul. since in the 80s. I lived in Banjul for around almost about 17, 20 years. So I know exactly the way Banjul used to be. But today it's a different thing completely. But to complement this work, we have to clean Banjul. That's why we said we have to come out, call on Banjulians and the neighbors to come and support us to clean Banjul. But we don't want it to stop just on this particular day. You want people to be coming out, come out of your compound, clean around your compound area. The next person, if we clean this compound area, it will be very, very clean. And also I think we will be innovative. I will call on the Minister of Environment and the local government minister and the stakeholders so that we should be innovative enough to employ at least minimum 50 people who will be assigned to be cleaning Banjul. It doesn't need to be on the consolidated fund, consolidated revenue, but even the business people can volunteer and contribute. If you pay each person about $5,000, I think that will be enough. If we have 50, Banjul will be very, very, very clean.
A tricycle turned to an ambulance in Sankandi village. The people of Sankandi expressed their dissatisfaction on the lack of proper means of transportation to the health facilities. The villagers uses a tricycle to transport sick people to the hospital. LSTV1 visited the village and here's a report of the story.
The natives of Sankande faces numerous challenges in getting their sick to the hospitals because there is no ambulance in Sankande and its neighboring communities. The people of Sankande are battling with lack of proper means of transportation. They use tricycle motorcars which has no cover to protect them from the rains or hot suns that is really challenging to them. They are urging the government, NGO, philanthropists to come to their aid and provide ambulances and other necessities they are lacking in the village. Lamin Sanu, the ambulance driver, explained some of the difficulties he encounters while driving the tricycle ambulance.
We have many difficulties with this ambulance. Firstly, the ambulance has no cover and it's very challenging to ride during the rainy season. I don't have a particular time to work both day and night, whether it's raining or not. I am always ready to work. The tricycle is always very difficult to work on when it's raining and when the sun is too hot carrying patients. In an uncovered ambulance is really not encouraging, and as I am speaking now, the tire of the tricycle motor is finished and we don't have another one.
Fadabo, who lives in the village of Sankande, also narrated the difficulties pregnant women face in an uncovered ambulance.
It's very difficult using tricycle ambulances that has no cover. Pregnant women in labor suffer a lot before reaching the hospital, especially during the rainy season. The ambulance has no cover. All the rains fall on the patient sitting in the ambulance, and that can give problem to women in labor. Imagine the pain in labor, they might catch cold, and that is another difficulty. We are asking for help with a better ambulance that patients can enter into.
Sankande is located in Kiang West District in Lower River Region. They are calling on the government to provide ambulances in their communities that will help in safe, comfortable and quick mobility for pregnant women to reach health facilities. For LSTV1 News, I am Biden Kamara.
And now to a press release from the Poliso magazine. It has come to the attention of the Inspector General of Police that some individuals are engaged in the use, sale or importation of military paraphernalia, the wearing, selling or importation of Gambian security uniform materials without authority is strictly prohibited as the act is in contravention with the laws of the Gambia. Section 169, subsection 1 of the Criminal Code laws of the Gambia states that any person who is not being a person serving in the Gambia Armed Forces or any foreign force stationed in the Gambia wears without the permission of the President the uniform of any of those forces or any dress having the appearance or bearing any of the regimental or other distinctive marks on such uniform is guilty of misdemeanor. Section 169, subsection 2 for the states that any person who unlawfully wears the uniform of any of the forces aforesaid or any dress having the appearance or bearing any of the regimental or the distinctive marks of any such uniform is in such a manner or in such circumstances as to be likely bring contempt on that uniform or employs any other person so to wear such uniform or dress is guilty of a misdemeanor. Still, Section 169, subsection 3 equally states that a person who, not being in the service of the Gambia or having previously received the written permission of the President so to do, import, sell, or has in his or her possession any such uniform as aforesaid or any cloth having the appearance or bearing of any regimental or other distinctive mark of the uniform or the button or badges appropriated therefore commits a misdemeanor. In the view of the above, the Inspector General of Police wishes to solicit the support of the general public, particularly individuals in the habit of using, selling or importing military paraphernalia in the country to desist from the practice with immediate effect. Furthermore, individuals importing military or police combat boots, cap, belts, knife, paper spray, taser, etc. are equally urged to desist from such practices with immediate effect. The public is hereby reminded that unauthorized wearing and importation of uniform materials is strictly prohibited by the laws, and individuals found wanting will be prosecuted in accordance with the law. The cooperation and understanding of the public is highly solicited. Now to some international stories. DR Congo to pay their respects to Lumumba. The Democratic Republic of Congo on Thursday is set to hold a funeral ceremony marking the return from Belgium of the remains of Prince Lumumba. The coffin of the slain Congolese independence hero was returned to his homeland from Belgium more than 6 decades after his assassination. Senabu Gassama has the rest of that story.
The first Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo and a revolutionary who led his country's campaign for independence from Belgium, Patrice Lumumba Stoot, is finally brought home for a befitting burial. 61 years after he was brutally assassinated and his body dissolved in sulfuric acid by reactionary forces opposed to African freedom and independence. Meanwhile, an official burial ceremony is taking place on Thursday for the truth of the Congolese independence leader Patrice Lumumba in the capital Kinshasa. The truth is all that remains of the African country's first prime minister, who was murdered in 1961 by separatist rebels in the collusion with the Belgian mercenaries.
In sports, Gambia is nominated for the CAF 2022 award. The Gambia got nominated in 4 categories for the Confederation of African Football 2022 awards. One of the categories include National Team of the Year, Coach of the Year, etc. The story by Osenyo Dabo is reported by Samuel Baba.
Musa Barrow alias Lakabaro, James Gomez, Tom and the national team got nominated at the 2022 Confederation of African Football CAF Awards. Gambia and its players were nominated under 4 different categories. Musa Barrow, a left wing of Bolong FC and a forward of the national team, falls under the Best Player of the Year battling with Sadio Mane of Senegal, Moses Simon of Nigeria, among others. James Gomez, a defender of the Hansen FC and the national team, was nominated under the Young Player of the Year category. Tom, alongside Aliou Cisse, coach of Senegal, got nominated under the Coach of the Year category. For the first time in the history of Gambia football, the Scorpions were also nominated under the National Team of the Year. Reporting for LSTV News, I am